What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. OG here, and we are going to go over both UFL and eFootball, starting with UFL. Now, if you don't know, I have a full video already of this game, which I downloaded as it was going on, or right as it ended, actually, because this is one of the worst rat losers I've ever played. A total cheater, and a player who actually wastes time playing like this, not only in UFL, but also in eFootball. He actually plays eFootball a ton more than UFL. And the kicker is he also played FC 25, but very little, because he realized, obviously, that he couldn't compete. He didn't have the skill to actually play football. And right now, based on all of the patches, it didn't used to be this way, but right now, after all of the patches, FC 25 is far and away the best game, and this is one of the reasons why, because many of the fixes that they've made since that major patch that took the game from the garbage can up to one of the best releases it's had in years, despite a lot of players disagreeing with this, it's just a fact. But even if you disagree with that, you can't disagree with the fact that they've done a lot to drive away the rats, because they no longer can compete without skill. That's just a fact. That's why many of these players are flocking to both UFL and eFootball. So I wanted to point this out because this major cheater, one of the worst I've ever seen, plays the two games that many players put money in, but do not get the product that they should get in return. And that's what we're going to talk about. But before getting into the details, I just want to note that even though this is the worst rat I've seen, and you don't necessarily face this every game, players going up a goal and just holding the ball in the back, you still face a ton of non-football nonsense, and that is the problem, because we all play a football simulator, football video game, right? Because we love football. We want to play football. So anything that takes away from that is a detriment to the game and something that the development company should be focusing on removing. Yes, it is terrible that there are losers out there that will waste their time to play a football simulator, and just to get a win, they'll do anything, including go for glitches, go for nonsense that isn't football at all. I mean, it's ridiculous. It takes away from the whole purpose, but there are a lot of really big losers in the world, clearly, and we see that as football gamers. We see it all the time, and I'm sure gamers of any genre can relate, but because we're talking about football, I'm going to stick to just that, and particularly UFL, which has a lot of these glitches that have been in since day one. There's been a lot of patches, a lot of times where UFL, well, Strikers is the company, Strikers will say that they're going to remove things and they don't, or they'll say they're going to remove something, it gets removed, and then because they're terrible at their job, they actually make something else worse or break something that wasn't broken. It's just ridiculous. So as much as you try to prop this game up, which Lord knows I have, if you watch all the way back through the start of my channel, which UFL is the game I started my channel around, I try so hard over and over, giving chance after chance. Even when I can't play the game anymore because of how bad it is, I'll still help those who do play to keep them going in a game that they like, or that they can at least tolerate more than me. So I've always supported the game one way or another, but no matter what, I'm never going to lie to you guys, because that is something that has always drove me crazy when there's BS content creators that you have to sift through to find somebody that will actually tell the truth about the game, which is very helpful to players. Sometimes players are looking for answers to issues, but these creators would rather stay on the good side of the development company, maybe so they can get early access to a future iteration of the game, or whatever the case may be. And also, they are afraid to tell the truth because they are afraid they'll chase some of their subs or their followers, whatever you want to call it, away, which means less clicks and views. If they tell the truth and they say this game is terrible, that could potentially mean less money for them. So they are dishonest with their subscribers, the people watching their videos, and that's just something I'm never going to do, no matter how negative I may come across, no matter how many times I may switch up games because a UFL patch makes the game worse, or because eFootball does something stupid like adding smart assist to every single mode, including divisions. Whatever the case may be, I am going to be honest about the game. Even if I'm continuing to play the game and continuing to make content on it, I'm still going to be honest, because that's what this channel has been about, and that's what it will always be about. Helping others reach their full potential, helping them to make decisions on the game that they are looking for some guidance on. So, with that being said, UFL, a game that I've been grinding lately and have been tolerating. I've been saying it since the start, though, there's a lot wrong with the game. Even through the grinding period where I was undefeated up until 2 losses in Showdown 2 weeks ago, I still, the whole time through all the victories, was saying this is the 3rd best game. And as you're seeing on screen, this is just a prime example as to why. And it is a combination of a terrible player base, which is because the game allows for the rat nonsense. Strikers is not able to remove all the glitches that allow these rats who don't have any skill to still compete and win. Therefore, since they can't do it anymore in FC, they do it in UFL. They might even do it in both UFL and eFootball, like we prove this player on the screen does. You can go into his profile and actually see the hours in each game, and it's so funny how it correlates with the games he plays most being the games that you can get away with the most ratty, glitchy nonsense. And so, with UFL, unless they're able to totally overhaul the nonsense that allows a player like this, and in a full 180, now you have UFL that has all these nonsense things in the game when they didn't originally, and FC has made adjustments to now be far and away the best game, largely because they overhauled their defensive system and now have a more manual approach, when for years the nonsense AI-assisted, clustered up defense was making FC intolerable. So the bottom line is this. If you are going to play a football game that is in the category of both FC and UFL, since they decided to copy so much off of FC, and you have a game that is in such turmoil like UFL, why on earth would you play it instead of FC? That's the problem with copying so much from FC. Instead of going in their own lane with the manual approach they had from the start, now that they're basically just a knockout version of FC, why would you ever play this nonsense and deal with all of these low-level, low-skill rats and be mixing it up in the same company, the same player base as them, when you could be playing a much better version of this style of football game with a much better player base? But what about eFootball, which is a totally unique style of game that is different from UFL and FC in the sense that it is a heavily AI-driven simulator, but there is one thing that both UFL and eFootball have in common, and that is exactly what the title of this video is, which is that both games call for you to pay in order to get played. So what exactly does that mean? Well, let's look at UFL first, because they totally go against all of their promotional taglines, such as no gimmicks, free to play, all fun, all football, whatever the case is. It's all nonsense, because the truth is you actually cannot truly compete as a free-to-play player, which I showed in this recent Road to Glory, where I had to actually make it a Road to Glory incentives and making my own way to earn money to spend, just because if I didn't do that, I would have been playing full 91 rated squads, which is the highest rating you can get in UFL, with like 80 rated teams. They have no boost ups for new accounts, nothing like that. It makes you scared to think that if this is what they're giving to their new players, they must not want players to really stay in the game. They must realize the game's going down and just trying to squeeze every dollar from their current players. And you have to think that because anybody starting a new account, getting these 50, 60, 70 rated players and quickly having to play 91 rated squads, seeing how slow it goes to boost up their team, I mean, they would be out of there unless they're willing to put money in and buy not only LP to get skins, right, to maybe get these special skins that give you these huge boosts, or just any skins, period. And not only that, but you also have to buy the in-game currency, which is CP, in order to purchase the players to even put the special skins or any skins on. So not only is their whole sales pitch a lie, but you also have to understand that you're giving them all this money, and what you're getting in return is a game where rats are infesting the entire game, and there's a ton of non-football nonsense that you have to deal with game in and game out. You are literally paying to get played by strikers. And the same goes with this game that you are watching right now, but at a much larger scale. Every week they release new epic players or new Showtime players, whether they're legends or current superstars, and they do a great job of keeping these players true to their real-life counterparts. But even with that being said, the price is outrageous. However, let's look at it this way. Let's just say that because they do such a good job with these players and how they keep them true to life, that it's worth the price. You still have to look at the fact that they never update the issues in this game. Whether it's a totally unrealistic and unbelievable way that they created their defensive system that needs to be totally overhauled, or the fact that they added a feature such as Smart Assist. Just the fact that they created it, period, but now you don't only use it in the events, Now you can use it in divisions too. So you literally have top players in the game using a feature that has the AI making your decisions, meaning you might shoot left and the AI says, nope, shoot right and you'll score. You might make a pass on the ground and the AI says, nope, we're going to put it in the air because that's a better way to pass. And there's other things it does too, such as reorganizing your defense, adjusting runs, certain things that you can tell when you're playing in game, when your opponents are using it, or when you use it as well. You can tell the things that it does to help you out or help your opponent out. And even though you absolutely can, and I've shown many times on stream and in videos that you can beat Smart Assist, that is not the point. But rather the point is that it takes away the PvP dynamic. It is the principle of playing against somebody else, and you will make mistakes, they will make mistakes, but then you will do things well, they will do things well, and the better football player will win. And a feature like Smart Assist totally destroys that. But it's not only that. These same type of players, which would be the rats in eFootball, are the ones that are going to use a playstyle called Quick Counter, where you literally spam through balls and use the overpowered rush defense to win the ball back. Zero skill whatsoever. Or you find a super tall striker and build his attributes up for nothing but jumping and heading, and then spam crosses. Maybe go purchase an edge crosser, and now you have this AI animation edge crosser into a super tall striker, and that's all you do to try to score goals, and it actually works. Konami should recognize these things that take away from the football and remove them, nerf them, whatever they have to do, because a lot of players pay a lot of money to get these players, which, by the way, are not even guaranteed. It is a gambling system where you take 3 players that you want out of 150 players in a box, and you keep putting money in up to roughly $150 where you can be guaranteed to get all 3. But that is the only way you are guaranteed to get all 3. Sometimes you might spend 10, 20, 30 bucks. Sometimes you might spend closer to the 150 mark. It is crazy, and yet eFootball still has all this nonsense because Konami will not remove it despite all this money they are making players pay to get the best players. It is literally paying to get played. Even worse than UFL because it's much more money. And not only that, but it is even worse in my opinion because eFootball actually is an amazing game at the foundational level. If you take away all this nonsense I mentioned, plus more of it that I didn't even mention, you have a great football game where the passing, the movement, the weight of the ball, the weight of your passes, the weight of the players, all of it is realistic. The animations are the most realistic of all the football games, but none of that matters when you add all the nonsense on top of it, which is clear to me that Konami did because they recognize that they have a lot of low skill, low level players that couldn't handle such a true-to-life football experience. So they added this crap to keep these players playing their game, which keeps them spending money. Therefore, they sold out for greed. That is the bottom line. So at the end of the day, there is no question that FC remains the king of football. And with the patches they made, they actually deserve that title. In the past, it was more because there just wasn't any competition. Therefore, they almost got that crown by default. Now, you have 3 games with decent enough player bases. UFL is struggling, but it is their own fault. eFootball's been around and has diehard player bases, and obviously Japan and China, and a, I would say, more cult following around the world. But these companies have had their time to hit at the king of football because, remember, FC25 at the beginning was one of the worst, if not the worst, releases in the history of the franchise. And yet, they made the changes to get the game back on track. And now, I can tell you personally, playing as recently as today on stream with a terrible team, a fully new account that I'm just about hour-wise, like 8 to 10 hours in, playing against full team of the season, beast teams, and getting my butt kicked a lot of times. And I'm telling you, I'm still loving that game way more than either eFootball or UFL because not only is it the best football experience, it is the most skill-based experience with manual defense. They finally fixed that, as well as skilled shooting, which neither eFootball or UFL has. Not overpowered AI like eFootball has. Not all the glitches that UFL has. And you could go on and on and on. Way better content. I mean, all the way down the line, FC is the best game. And this just must be said. It's the truth. So if you are a football gamer looking for the best football game, without a doubt, it's FC. If you want to, You can see for yourself by watching my videos and streams on my Road to FC26 series, where I'm literally just playing to train and improve, all in preparation for FC26. So by no means is this some type of promotion for FC. I've said this on my videos and streams in the past for both UFL and eFootball, but the bottom line is you don't need any promotion for FC 25 or 26 or whatever. The best promotion for that game right now is just playing eFootball and UFL, because they're in such bad shape that if you play them, you're going to want to play FC and see what it's about. And it's actually a pretty darn good game. Despite what those spoiled players over there, the FC player base, may think, it is by far the best football game. So I just wanted to tell you guys the honest truth while pointing out some of the nonsense, which, even though this may seem like a regular eFootball game, not as obvious as the rat nonsense that you saw in the example of a UFL game, this is a game where both players, including myself, are using Smart Assist, which means we aren't even making the most important decisions. The AI is making our decisions. Now in this game, my opponent, who is a rat loser, decided he just wanted to use Smart Assist right from the start. Once I saw that, like always, I go and turn on Smart Assist myself and try to just essentially beat him over the head with it. Obviously, I mean that proverbially, but I do that because if they want to ruin everyone else's experience in order to get a win, I'll go ahead and ruin their chances of getting a win by beating them with the very thing they're trying to essentially cheat with. I don't care if Konami put it in the game. It is a ridiculous feature that makes the game pointless because you aren't even making the decisions yourself. Yes, it stinks that there's losers like that out there that are going to waste their time playing a game with a feature like Smart Assist, but the bottom line is they exist, and unlike UFL, who I think just don't have the ability to remove the things that are driving the rats towards their game, I know for a fact that Konami purposely added this feature to assist the rat losers that are in their game and that keep coming to play their game because of features like Smart Assist. So you have two totally different football games with two totally different development companies that both have their player base paying just to get played for a terrible football experience. So don't let that be you in the future. Now you have been warned. Let me know what you think of this in the comments section. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Discord. The link, as always, is in the bio. And no matter what, keep grinding, keep having fun, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.